What's up, guys? This is like the third take of this, so I'm not going to do it again. So, today's episode of Sub 2 Made Simple by Victor Bell, where I go over how I actually buy houses using none of my own money, none of my own credit, and how you can do that too, because I want to help you do deals and make money yourself. Is Today's video is about my flow chart. So, whenever I get a deal in, I have a flow chart. It's something that I do, and it's how I track what's going on. Because to be honest with you, subject to and being a pretty house, it's a business. It's a system. So this is my system, and I'll show you guys how it goes. I actually wrote it down earlier, and it was so fuzzy you couldn't see it. So I'll do it real time. So bear with me, y'all. Y'all know I'm not a good writer. So this is important for you people. So even if you've been doing subject to deals, sometimes people do subject to deals. They come in from a wholesaler or they're a wholesaler themselves and they structure creative financing. But you kind of need to know if you're going to expand on a team or if it's just you and you're doing this business by yourself. You need to know where you are in the cycle of your deal flow. All right. So number one, for us, deal comes in, and I'll keep it short. The deal comes in. That's usually through some type of marketing channel, whether it's ours or somebody else's, but whatever. That's number one that we're looking at. Number two, we pre-screen. Actually, I like to say, as of late, pre-qualify. So we need to pre-qualify the seller. And I say that because everyone's a seller. Everyone's, even with the term motivated seller, we like to do, can you guys see that? I'll move this over so we can see it. So even in a motivated seller, everyone's motivated for what they want. I may have $1 million property, and you ask me, are you motivated? Hell yeah, I'm motivated. For what? $1 million. Everyone's motivated. So when I talk about pre-screening, I'm really talking about pre-qualifying the seller. Like, what is their motivation? What's their reason for even wanting to sell? Why are they calling you, or why are they accepting your phone call? Right? Why are they a seller? I think this is probably the most valuable part of my flow chart, because if you get good at pre-qualifying sellers, you can be on and off the phone within 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours, but you got to be good at it. All right, so you need to recognize where you are in the pecking order of this stuff. Next, after you pre-screen your seller, you've talked to them, you went to the house like I've showed you, you're going to go to contract. You're going to go to contract, and in this phase, you're going to check title. You never put a dime into any deal without checking title. So you go to contract, first thing you do is you check title. That's first. Then after that clear title comes back, this is in our flow chart. Again, we're on number 3 right now. You're going to close. Right? You're going to get the deed. Sub 2, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about sub 2 deals, right? So you're going to get the deed on this thing. After you check title, you've already went to the house, you've walked it, you've confirmed everything is what they said it was. You're going to move forward, and then you're going to close. So this is where it gets fun. So this is the first 4 on the flow chart. I guess I can get one more in there, get to 5. So what I do, I break things down. I go over, I can put a lockbox on the house if there's a box, if it's vacant already. If it's vacant, right, you don't do it prior to. And I start marketing. This is my soft marketing. So what I'll do is I'll be like, hey guys, I got a deal coming up. Here's a picture of the outside. If you like it, you have it. Here's what we're going to be looking at. This is before I do any minor upgrades inside, carpet, flooring, or anything like that. But this is the first 5 pieces of my flow chart, and I'll go over the next. So number 1, deal comes in through your marketing efforts, whatever those marketing efforts are. I went over that in another video. You guys can check that out. Pre-screen, pre-qualify your seller. First, the reason why pre-screen, pre-qualify matters is because we are pre-qualifying them. They aren't pre-qualifying us. If you call or I call, first thing I just want to know is if there's a reason for us to even talk. And then I start asking questions. There's a very specific way to do that I go over in investor school. Next, I get a contract on the property. We write that up. And then I check title. Again, I never put a dime and not a lot of energy into a house before I check title and everything comes back okay based on, hey, no liens, no problems, no child support stuff that was due that when your kid was like 6 years old, now your kid's 19 and it's attached to the house and I got to pay for it. Next, I close that deal long as title came out all right for me. And then I get the deed or I take it over subject to. I start going into now ownership. Okay, that's where we're at. Then that I own it, I swing over, put a lockbox on the house, and then I start my soft marketing efforts. I go out to my list, people, online, offline, whatever it is, and I do that. So that's the first 5 pieces. of that. Next, and I'll start it, I guess, with a number. Number 6, I start my Reno, which I like to say rehab upgrades. I start upgrading stuff. When I'm thinking pretty houses, 15 grand or so, prices have went up naturally. I used to be like 5 grand, no more. But now $15,000, that's painting the property, some landscaping, lighting, making it look nice, maybe changing a couple of things. We got to go in and put in, refrigerator, microwave, oven, and all that other stuff, range, the steel package to make it nice because we're getting nicer properties. We'll do that. So we start that process after I've already started my soft marketing. I start going in and I start doing stuff. All right. Next, this stuff gets completed, right? And we go into QC, which is quality control. Why is this even on there? Because there's going to be sometimes you're going to walk through and say, oh man, it's done. And you start going through and you start saying, okay, is the paint done? Does everything need to be spot checked? Do we need to go back through and clean everything before we start walking people through here? Do we need a fluffer? Fluffer meaning that they're going to wipe stuff down, sweep stuff out, clean up the backyard, make sure the leaves and all that stuff is good, wipe down inside of ceiling fans and globes and the blades, all that stuff. This is quality control. This is to make sure that you have a great product that you're bringing to market after you get this property. Because if it's a pretty house, you own this property. So it's a pride of ownership thing, but make sure it clears and is completed. You usually have someone on your team to do that. We do that. All right. So next, we stage the property if we need to stage it. If we haven't sold it already, like we already don't have somebody. Videos, pics, right? We go there. So we're already now like 6. We do renovations, light rehabs, and or upgrades. We do quality control to make sure all the work was done correctly so we can hack off on it and say, yeah, or we got to get our contractors or anybody that did that work back over there so we can make sure that they do that extra stuff. We budget for time there. All right. So next, we start staging the property. Nice furniture. We start, anything modern. We start making all those things nice, make it pretty. Sometimes during this phase, I even do a property premiere. I invite as many of my team over as possible, all the contractors, all the people, potential buyers, borrowers, realtors that I know, mortgage people, bankers. I make a freaking show. I put flags in the yard. We market it on social media, market it on Facebook. We do videos, we do Instagram lives, YouTube videos, all that stuff. I make a spectacle of the house because this is the time when you start bringing attention to what you're doing, right? And then next, right here, we turn it over because we've already done all the stuff, right? Because we have to get our marketing things. We turn over to our salesperson. Now, during this time, my salesperson is involved here, my salesperson is involved here, my salesperson is involved here, salesperson involved here. We turn it over to them fully and go, look, sell it, get rid of it, whatever we need to do, right? What I didn't say, and I forgot, is during this moment, with my lockbox, like I said, I kind of said it, we start marketing it early. Before I do any fixing up, I start saying, who will take this now? And I can still get the same amount of money I was going to get had we fix it up, and we'll turn it over to them, give them a credit, whatever, right? Because if I give you a credit and I still make the same profit, it doesn't matter whether I spend the money that I was going to give you a credit for. So I'm not married to that. So, but then the last one, like I said, 6, we're here, 7, quality control, 8, 9, we turn it over to our sales team, and then they turn around, get it done, and that's if we're bringing it to market. So let's say we're not bringing it to market, and we're going with a rent-to-own person. Rent-to-own, or somebody that's going to buy it on the lease option. All right, this is our rent-to-own buyers. That's ER, Victor. So first thing, same thing as the other one. We're going to pre-qualify these people. How do I pre-qualify my rent-to-own buyers? Simple. How much money do you have? I don't even make it complicated. Because if we're going to do a rent, I'm not going to check your credit. I'm not going to go back and forth, but I do need to know how much money you have and whether you can afford this place. And then after that, we're going to take their application, fill it out, check their references, check bank accounts, check their jobs at work, whether they're business owners. Typically, they're entrepreneurs and they have the money to put down. And, they have sporadic, because they don't have a W-2. And we go from there. Pre-qualify them. We send them out to the property. Right? That's pre-qualify them on the phone before we get them to the address. They go see it. And then they go inside, naturally, they go inside, they fill out the application. They let us know. That's when we do all the stuff. So phone call, how much money you got. We'll give you the address. You go see it. Once they go see it, they fill out an application, get back over to us. We find out how much money they have. We check their references. We select them, right? We have a selection. Best ones. Which ones are the best rent-to-own tenants? The ones with the most money. That's pretty simple for us. Last but not least, then we have a formal closing. Formal close. Which means we sit down with them, or they sit down with our attorneys, and they sign the documents saying, hey, we're taking over this property on a rent-to-own. We're going to pay this amount of money, and we're putting this amount of money down to buy the property. It's non-refundable. We understand that. And if we don't pay, Victor's going to kick us out as fast as we got in. It's going to be unpleasant, and he's not going to care. And he's not going to give us our money back. And that's this. But this is the flow chart from the buyer side. This is super simple, right? When I'm selling a property on a rent-to-own, great. Now, if it's a retail buyer, they go with our realtor. That's done. We don't have to deal with this. This person needs to still be qualified because they may be with us 18 months, 24 months, whatever that is. And we need to know one way or another. How much money do you have? Can you afford this place? And are you going to make the payments on time? Because we want you to buy it at some point in the future. They're going to go see it. And then they're going to fill out that application. If they like it, love it, want more of it. We're going to select them based on how many applications we get. We're going to pick the best person for that property for us. And also, biggest thing, who do I want to be in bed with, deal with in a property, a real estate deal for 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. Some people have been in our properties for 7 years. That's huge. I need to know who that guy is. And then last but not least, have a formal closing so we know 100% that this person understands what they're signing. They understand what they're getting into, and they understand the ramifications of not doing what they say, because all essence, they're tying up our property for as long as they're in there on the premise that we can't sell it to anybody else but them, because they have first right of refusal to buy based on that option agreement, which is the rent to own. So, wow, I went through that pretty quick because my brain spools, man. I love this stuff. But anyways, I wanted to share that with you because the goal here is for you to understand that it's not random, right? I'm not a wholesaler. I'm not a wholesaler that's going off and finding rent to own, or finding somebody who has a property that we could subject to, and then I flip that contract to someone else, and I don't care what happens after I do that. Like, I actually take title to these properties. They go on my balance sheet. It's a part of my net worth. I turn around and resell them, whether it's a rent-to-own buyer or I bring them to market and we resell them, because depending on the profit margin that's available. But that's why you have to have a flow chart. This is technically a business. You find a property, it comes through your ecosystem, and it comes out of the other side still with a flowing movement, so you know where to put your people, your team, or your own personal mental efforts into closing these deals. So I hope that helps you. Again, our flow chart is actually inside of Investor School. We go over this. It's printed out. It's on a PDF paper, so you can see exactly where you are. Hey, Vic, I got a deal in. We pre-qualified the seller. We went to the house. Now we're in this phase where we're checking title and we're getting ready to close. Is there anything I need to look out for? That helps me be able to find out where you are, so you know where you are, so I can help you. All of our contracts are in there, closing documents, scripts, flow chart, like we said, negotiation training, creative financing stuff, the 20 things that we do for creative financing attached to, subject to, how we do our deals for residential, how I buy houses with no money, none of my own credit. And then also the trainings on the multifamily are also in there too. Love to have you a part of that. So go to bell-capital.com/real estate training. That's bell-capital.com/real estate training. You can get access to Investor School. I promise you, it's going to be the best shit you ever had in your life, or best stuff you ever had in your life, I promise, because it's exactly what I do, how I train my team. Everyone who's ever bought that has been like, dude, this is the best thing we've got. It is the only real estate system you're ever going to need in any market, right? It's exactly what we do. That's why I believe in it. So, and then the other thing too, go to sub2madesimple.com. That's our other website. Any information that you need will be there. We have other trainings available for you there. Keep tuning into this series that we have that's called Sub 2 Made Simple by Victor Bell, where we go over all things subject to creative financing, how to actually buy houses with none of your own money, none of your own credit. And I want to help you go do deals and go make money. Boom, let's do it. I love you guys. Have a great day today. Like this video, share this video, comment on this video if you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Don't be a hater and a hider at the same time, but I appreciate all of them. But let's go. Let me know if you guys need anything. Let's do it.